Good morning everyone. We were discussing structure of atom in which we have discussed that atom consists of three subatomic particles, that is electrons, protons and neutrons. When the scientists they come to know that subatomic particles they are present, then they tried to find the location of these subatomic particles in an atom. Then the various models were proposed and we have discussed those models. The first was Thomson's model, second was Rutherford's model. The drawbacks of Rutherford's model was that this model was not able to explain the stability of an atom, and it was also not able to explain the line spectrum of atom. The reason was that in Rutherford's model it was said that electrons they are accelerating around the positively charged nucleus. तो ये कहा गया कि अगर चार्ज पार्टिकल एक्सेलरेट करता है तो ड्यूरिंग इट्स एक्सेलरेशन वो अपनी एनर्जी लिबरेट क्यों नहीं करता, और ऐसा क्यों नहीं होता कि वो जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है वो न्यूक्लियस के साथ कोलाइड कर जाए. अगर ऐसा होगा तो एटम की एग्जिस्टेंस ही नहीं रहेगी. सो दैट वाज द ड्रॉबैक ऑफ रदरफोर्ड्स मॉडल. देन बिफोर coming to Bohr's model, various trials they were done, and those trials they lead to the developments. Those developments were dual nature of electromagnetic radiations and atomic spectra. These two we have discussed in the earlier parts, and now we are going to discuss in this part the Bohr's model for hydrogen atom, which came into existence after the developments, that is dual nature of electromagnetic radiation and atomic spectra. According to this model, it was said that electrons, the atom consists of small heavy positively charged nucleus in the center, and the electrons revolve around the nucleus in particular circular paths. That particular path have definite radius and energy. That path was termed as orbit, and because it was having particular energy, that is why that level was termed as energy level. We numbered them, those energy levels, as 1, 2 and 3, and respectively they were named as KLM and so on. Second was, when electron is in particular orbit, it doesn't undergo energy change. In this model, it was said that electron outside the nucleus revolve around it in a particular path which was termed as orbit. That orbit have particular energy, that is why it was termed as energy level. And when it is revolving in a particular orbit, during that revolution it doesn't undergo any energy change. Means जब वो move कर रहा है, revolve कर रहा है around the nucleus, उस टाइम पे जब तक एक्सटर्नल सोर्स से एनर्जी प्रोवाइड नहीं होगी तब तक वो इलेक्ट्रॉन अपनी ही एनर्जी के साथ उस ऑर्बिट में घूमता रहेगा. That was the reason that this postulate was able to explain the stability of an atom, कि अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन एनर्जी लिबरेट नहीं करेगा अपने मोशन के ड्यूरेशन में तो वो एटम स्टेबल रहेगा. So according to this postulate, the stability of an atom, which was the drawback of Rutherford's model, was explained. Next was that which orbits are allowed. How can we come to know that in which orbit, in which shell the electron can be placed, where it is revolving? So for that, Bohr proposed that only those orbits are allowed whose angular momentum is the whole number multiple of h upon 2 pi. What angular momentum is? It is the product of mass of the electron, velocity of the electron, and r is the radius of the electron. Means this will suggest that at which location the electron is revolving around the nucleus. Next was, when the energy is supplied to an atom, its electrons absorb quantum of energy and jump to higher energy level. This we have discussed earlier also, that in an atom, if the electron is lying in an orbit, other orbits they are also there, but why don't we consider them? Because they are empty, but they are there in the atom. When from an external source the energy is supplied to the atom, the electrons they absorb the energy and reach to the higher energy level. जिस एनर्जी लेवल में वो पहले घूम रहे थे उस एनर्जी लेवल को हम कहेंगे ग्राउंड स्टेट, और एनर्जी एब्जॉर्ब करने के बाद वो जिस एनर्जी लेवल में चले गए उसे कहेंगे एक्साइटेड स्टेट. Now when the electron absorb the energy which is equal to the difference of energy levels, इन दोनों levels की कुछ energy है, जितना difference इनकी energies में होगा, जब इलेक्ट्रॉन उतनी एनर्जी एब्जॉर्ब कर लेगा तो वो इस एक्साइटेड लेवल में पहुंच जाएगा. In this excited level the electron is not stable, and we know that each and everything in this universe try to attain stability. For attaining that stability, that electron require to come back to its ground state again. अब वो कैसे ग्राउंड स्टेट में आएगा? जब वो उतनी ही एनर्जी रिलीज करेगा जितनी उसने एब्जॉर्ब की थी इस एनर्जी लेवल से इस एनर्जी लेवल तक पहुंचने के लिए. So by liberating that much amount of energy, electron again reaches to its ground state. This is what mentioned here is. But in this level, electron is unstable and tries to come back to the lower level by radiating the energy equal to the energy difference of two levels. जितना इन दोनों की levels की energies में difference होगा, उतनी ही energy वो absorb करेगा तो वो excited level में जाएगा और उतनी ही energy वो emit करेगा तो वो ground state में आएगा. Next is the frequency of radiation emitted, because the energy it is emitted by the electron to come back to the ground state. अब जब वो एनर्जी एमिट करेगा तो उस एनर्जी की कुछ फ्रीक्वेंसी भी होगी. उस फ्रीक्वेंसी को हम कैसे कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं? We know the formula E is equal to h nu. What E is the energy. How much energy? Which is equal to the energy difference. So we can write it as delta E is equal to h nu also. So from here mu is equal to delta E by h, where delta E is equal to E2 minus E1 by h. Now while Bohr's model was successful in explaining the structure of an atom, the reason was, first is he was able to explain the stability of an atom. We have done in its postulates that he said that when electron revolves in its orbit, it doesn't liberate energy. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन एनर्जी लिबरेट नहीं करेगा, it means कि वो अपने ही ऑर्बिट में घूमता रहेगा, which shows that atom is stable. Electron will not collide in the nucleus, and hence he was able to explain the stability of the atom. The next drawback of Rutherford's model was that he was not able to explain the spectrum of hydrogen. How Bohr was able to explain the spectrum of hydrogen? He said that when electron is revolving in an orbit, it will keep on revolving with its energy. अगर उस इलेक्ट्रॉन को किसी एक्सटर्नल सोर्स से एनर्जी मिलेगी तो वो इलेक्ट्रॉन एनर्जी एब्जॉर्ब करके हायर एनर्जी लेवल में चला जाएगा. That higher energy level is termed as excited state, where the electron is not stable. To attain the stability, it will lose the energy and tries to come back to its ground state. Here it is mentioned, when the energy is supplied, electron jump to the excited state. But to attain stability, it comes back to the ground state. जब वो अपनी ग्राउंड स्टेट में आएगा तो जो एनर्जी लिबरेट होगी उसकी कुछ फ्रीक्वेंसी होगी. The frequency of that emitted radiation can be calculated by this formula nu is equal to delta E by h. He gave the formula that by this formula, which we have discussed earlier also, we can find the frequency. Now we know that frequency nu is equal to c by lambda. C is the velocity of light and lambda is the wavelength. Hence, by introducing this term here, c by lambda is equal to delta E upon h. Now if the transition is taking place from second excited energy level to first ground state level, then we can write this expression here as lambda is equal to hc upon E2 minus E1. अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन सेकेंड एनर्जी लेवल से फर्स्ट एनर्जी लेवल पे आ रहा है तो हम इस एक्सप्रेशन से उस एनर्जी की वेवलेंथ निकाल सकते हैं. जिस तरह हम E2 से E1 की निकाल सकते हैं, इसी तरह हम E3 से E1, E4 से E1, E3 से E2 भी निकाल सकते हैं. So by calculating the values of wavelength, we get the spectrum of a hydrogen atom, which was not explained by Rutherford that why hydrogen is giving such type of spectrum. हाइड्रोजन का जो स्पेक्ट्रम मिला एटॉमिक स्पेक्ट्रम में, जब उसकी डिस्कवरी हुई तभी रदरफोर्ड के मॉडल को ड्रॉबैक मिला कि वो स्पेक्ट्रम रदरफोर्ड का मॉडल एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए केपेबल नहीं था। लेकिन जब इसमें पता चला कि अलग अलग एनर्जी लेवल्स हैं जिनमें इलेक्ट्रॉन्स रिवॉल्व करते हैं, एनर्जी मिलने पर इलेक्ट्रॉन एक्साइटेड लेवल में जाता है, वहां से वो ग्राउंड लेवल में आता है क्योंकि वहां वो स्टेबल नहीं है, तो वो एनर्जी लिबरेट करता है। लिबरेटेड एनर्जी की वेवलेंथ होगी, उन वेवलेंथ्स को अगर हम कैलकुलेट करें तो हमें हाइड्रोजन का स्पेक्ट्रम मिल जाएगा। So that is why Bohr's model was able to explain both the drawbacks of Rutherford's model. Along with it, his model was also able to calculate the energy of electron in the particular orbit. कि इलेक्ट्रॉन की पर्टिकुलर एनर्जी एक ऑर्बिट में कितनी होगी, उसने उसके लिए भी मेथड बता दिया by using the formula En is equal to minus RH into 1 by n square, where n is the number of energy level, RH is the Rydberg's constant, which is equal to 2 pi square m e की power 4 upon h square. We know that 2 and pi are the constant terms, m is mass, charge, and h is the Planck's constant. In introducing all the terms and calculating it, we will come up with the expression minus 2.18 into 10 to power minus 18 by n square joule per atom. In the same way, for hydrogen-like ions like He positive, which is having one electron, Li2 positive, having one electron, the change in the formula will be En is equal to minus RH into Z square upon n square, where Z is the atomic number for this. Like for helium, the value of Z will be 2. For lithium, the value of Z will be 3. So by using this formula, he said that we can calculate the energy of the electron in a particular orbit in a hydrogen atom or hydrogen-like ions. Similarly, he said that by using this expression, Rn is equal to A naught into n square, he said that we can calculate the radius of each circular orbit in which the electron is revolving around the nucleus. Similarly, for hydrogen-like ions, the formula will be Rn is equal to A naught n square by Z. So these were the reasons that Bohr's model was successful in explaining the structure of an atom, and it is accepted till now.